Part 100. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 991. Fang Fan took full command of the battle. The speed of the 5-star Emperor Realm God Abandoner on the opposite side is getting faster and faster. It's a game. A game of life and death. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and took a deep breath, then he focused on it. He knew very well that any negligence could lead to a total loss. The slaves of the gods must die. Wearing a black robe, the commander of the 5-star Emperor Realm Abandoned God suddenly said such an inexplicable sentence, and immediately attacked Galen and waited for others to attack. Garen, Kyle, and Jax are all 3-star Emperor realms. There is also the 2-star Emperor realm called Barren Mountain. The Black Dragon Knights Corps and the 4-Winged War Angels Corps were fully encircled and suppressed by the more than 21-star Sovereign Realm forces, and the situation was temporarily controlled. At the very least, it is unlikely that the leader of the God-Forsaken will break through the blockade in a short period of time. This leaves Fang Fan a manipulative space. Fang Fan took a deep breath and gritted his teeth silently. As the commander of the entire battle, although he had never directly participated in the battle, he was obviously under a lot of mental pressure. Since you have control over the overall situation, you must always keep an eye on the enemy's movements. After all, he is facing a 5-star Emperor Realm powerhouse. Naturally, Fang Fan couldn't casually say that he didn't care, he wasn't arrogant to that extent. In the distance, everyone who is fighting with the 3-star Emperor Realm God Abandoner can naturally pay attention to the battlefield scene here. At this moment, everyone is instantly stunned. Palace Master Fang Fan led the strong men under his command to resist the leader of the God-Forsaken leader of the 5-star Emperor Realm. There is no defeat in the first battle. Hey, I knew that Hall Master Fang Fan really had a lot of backhands, but I didn't expect the backhands to be so strong. The owner of the Chasing Soul Pavilion, Guneng's eye sockets tightened for a while, and his body could not help but tremble. Motion Pavilion Demon Emperor Snake Charm lit up, and lightly opened his red lips. At least 6 3-star emperors, and more than 21-star emperors and 2-star emperors, this is really just an 8th rank that has just been established. Power. Even our Motion Pavilion, it is extremely difficult to get together this lineup. Snake Charm took a deep breath, and the same color flashed in his eyes. Among the 5 demon emperors of Motion Pavilion, there are 4 3-star emperors and 1 2-star emperor. Of course, the 2 3-star emperors, the Thunderstorm Demon Emperor and Shangguan Demon Emperor, have been beheaded by Fang Fan. In the present Motion Pavilion, it is naturally impossible to gather 6 3-star Emperor Realm powerhouses. On the other side, Zi Ling was struggling against a 3-star Emperor who was abandoned by the Realm God. At this moment, she felt a little blush when she saw Fang Fan's majesty. This bad guy, he has such a strong background, but he doesn't show it. It made me think that I wanted to protect him at the time. Zi Ling pouted, and secretly made a sound of resentment. Simas Yang, deputy head of the Big Divine Sect, is also the only 4-star Emperor Realm powerhouse present. After taking a look at the battle situation where Fang Fan was in, he was not so optimistic, and then sighed. Resisting it doesn't mean you can beat it. Everyone showed size, and the horror in their eyes was extraordinarily real. Fang Fan conquered everyone with his achievements. Fang Fan naturally couldn't receive the size of everyone. At this moment, he was fully devoted to the battle situation. Courage. Judgment. Demachian justice. Garen played a wave of skills, but the effect it can bring is very limited, which has to make people feel helpless and sad. Looking at the overall situation, the situation has been completely fragmented to some extent. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 992. Jump Cut. The Power of the Master. Jax also showed his strongest means. Everyone knows that now is not the time to endure. If you continue to hide your clumsiness at this moment, you will surely die. What they are dealing with now is a 5-star Emperor who far exceeds their 2 levels of combat power. Bang bang bang. Sonorous. Although Galen and the others had an advantage in numbers, they had already been beaten and retreated in all directions. According to the development of this situation, it may not be long before they will be completely repelled. Ha ha ha. Trash. A bunch of trash. The slaves of the gods are getting weaker and weaker. Sooner or later, we will kill you all. This world belongs to us. Despicable gods. And you damn god slaves, all have to die. All of them have to die. The words of the leader of the god-forsaken leader in the 5-star Emperor realm reveal jealousy and hatred for the gods. Although I can't see the face under his mask, I can imagine how hideous it is. The murderous intent in Fang Fan's eyes. It's time for final reckoning. The situation seems to be getting worse. Everyone sighed, and a look of helplessness appeared in their eyes. The one on the other side is the 5-star Emperor realm after all. Palace Master Fang Fan is actually very strong, but it's still a little worse. Snake Charm gritted her teeth. At this moment, she was alone against the 2 3-star Emperors, and she seemed to be under a lot of pressure. Otherwise, let's choose the previous evacuation plan. It's not a problem to fight like this. Guneng, the pavilion master of Chasing Soul Pavilion, obviously wants to retreat at this moment. But this is a normal way of thinking. Who is not afraid of death? In the face of death, in fact, most of everyone's reactions are very real. Under the threat of death, there are not many tough guys who choose to face difficulties, but the number is too small. No. Now Fang Fan has been held back. If we withdraw, Fang Fan will definitely be torn apart by these God-forsakens. We should trust Fang Fan. He might have something else to deal with the leader of the God-forsaken. Zi Ling swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and she had no confidence in her words. Is a 5-star Emperor realm powerhouse so easy to deal with? Unless the 6 3-star Emperor realm guards under Fang Fan's command can all become 4-star Emperor realm, then there may still be some opportunities to take advantage of. And like this, it is obvious that it is insignificant. A little careless, it really all collapsed. Impossible. The strength gap is too big. This leader of the God-forsaken is not an ordinary 5-star Emperor realm, he is considered a strong person in the 5-star Emperor realm. If we continue to fight hard, we will lose in the end. My Big Dipper sect can hold on for 10 minutes at most. 10 minutes later, if there is no major change in the battle situation, we can only say sorry. Seamus Yong, deputy head of the Big Dipper sect, gritted his teeth and said helplessly. Of course he wanted to stay and fulfill his loyalty. But there are also a lot of geniuses from the Big Divine sect around him. They are the foundation of the future of the Big Divine sect. Prosperous hope. Once they are all damaged here, the Big Dipper sect will be really cold. So it's quite normal to have some selfishness at the moment. Now that Fang Fan has held back the leader of the God-forsaken leader of the 5-star Emperor realm, it is the best time for them to escape. If you miss the opportunity, it will be too late when the leader of the God Abandoner reacts. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 993. Everyone has the desire to seek advantages and avoid disadvantages. In fact, this is normal, and there is no need to be on the line. Although Zi Ling on the side was a little angry, in the end, she could only choose to accept it silently. Zi Ling's eyes glanced at Fang Fan's location. This young man who is always creating miracles doesn't know if he can continue to lead the trend this time. Core Battlefield. Kyle. Use the exclusive skill Holy Flame to reduce his defense. Fang Fan snorted secretly, his eyes twinkling brightly. Kyle's exclusive skill, Holy Flame, is specially used to attack high-level existences. Holy Flame, when Kyle attacks an enemy unit, he ignores the opponent's level and causes damage to his armor. Ignore the level, and break the armor. This is the craziest. For now, even Garen and other 3-star Emperor Realm combat powers are difficult to directly cause the armor-piercing effect on this 5-star Emperor's combat power. This is the existence that needs urgent transformation at present. Daji. Always be ready. Vega, Dark Magic, can it be released at any time? Fang Fan took a deep breath, his eyes flickered. Some words don't need to be too clear, just be clear. This situation is suitable for a desperate battle. Lord. Everything is ready. Vega put his hands in front of him, and the dark magic in a compressed state was about to condense into a liquid. Very good. Daji. Take control. Fang Fan ordered again. Idle Charm. Idle Charm, use exclusive skills. As long as the hero does not exceed 3 levels, you can forcibly control the opponent for 1.5 seconds. The cooling time is 3 hours. Daji let out a coquettish cry, and then saw a love pounce directly towards the leader of the god-forsaken leader of the 5-star Emperor Realm. Idle Charm, Daji's exclusive skill. As long as the enemy's level does not exceed your own 3 levels, you can directly control it for 1.5 seconds. It's a pity that the cooling time is too long, and under normal circumstances, it can only be used once in a battle. It is precisely because of this that it is so precious. However, if analyzed from another angle, it actually seems normal. If the cooldown time is extremely short, it will really become an invincibility bug. While Daji was using his control skills, Fang Fan shouted again, "Give me the firepower." Kill. Rumbling. Now is the final battle. The battle scenes are especially intense and surging. Demachian Justice. Jump Cut. Rage of Justice. Let the bullets fly. Soul Shock. Heroes displayed their strongest attacks, and the scene was once magnificent. Dark Sacrifice. Dark Matter. Extraordinary Evil Power. Energy Burst. Little Mage Vega's attack broke out completely. This is destined to be a battle that makes everyone tremble. Death is the most direct pronoun. What about the 5-star Emperor Realm? Retaliation by leaps and bounds has never been a dream. If you don't have the courage to fight to the end, how can you fight? Fight to the end. One after another energy beams illuminated half of the sky in Wailing Canyon. At this moment, the gods' deserters, Xiling, and others who were fighting in the surrounding area also stopped fighting, and each was stunned. This, so strong, such a strong attack. This dark energy, has a sense of extinction. Demon Heaven Pavilion Demon Emperor Snake Charm's eyes lit up and said quite excitedly. Hey, I feel that if I touch it a little, it will be torn to pieces. Guneng, the pavilion master of Chasing Soul Pavilion, swallowed a mouthful of saliva and looked a little horrified. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 994. Xiling looked at the whole battle, a smile suddenly appeared on her face. He, sure enough, never disappoints. He's as strong as ever. He, once again, proved his will with his actions. Simas Yang, the vice chief of the Big Dipper sect, was also in a state of stunned silence at the moment. Is this the world of the strong? This young man has such a powerful energy, no wonder he was so indifferent to deal with the leader of the god abandoned. What kind of mighty power did he exert to actually make the commander of the god-forsaken of the 5-star Emperor Realm directly unable to move? Sima Xiang had countless questions in his heart. But obviously, no one can answer it for him now. A wave of violent attacks, even the 5-star Emperor Realm powerhouse, could not bear it. Not to mention, there is a supernatural existence like Vega. With the supernatural evil attack bonus, Wei Jie can completely counter-attack and kill to a certain extent. Killing people across 2 levels, hasn't Vega never done it? The time of 1.5 seconds is not too long, but not too short, enough for Vega to accurately bombard the deadly position of the God-forsaken leader with dark magic. After being shattered by Kale's exclusive skill Holy Flame, the leader of the God-forsaken naturally does not have the strong defensive power of a 5-star Emperor. The shield of the Emperor's energy has completely collapsed, waiting for his, destined to be a messy strangulation. Kale's exclusive skill Holy Flame is used to pierce armor. Daji's exclusive skill Idle Charm is forcibly controlled. Coupled with Vega's exclusive skill Extraordinary Evil Power, the power of dark magic can be superimposed without limit. Once these 3 heroes cooperate, it will be a breeze. At the end of the 1.5 second control time, the arrogant 5-star Emperor Realm powerhouse could only collapse on the ground at this moment, and began to gasp violently. His body was covered with jagged wounds, and his breathing was louder than his breathing. He looked at him in a state of extreme weakness. At this time, it only needs to stab a few more knives, and it should be able to kill it completely. The last straw that breaks the camel's back is the knife. Galen. Fang Fan snorted lightly, and Galen nodded, directly holding the big sword and killing the leader of the God-forsaken. The other God Abandoners in the 3-star Emperor Realm wanted to stop them, but they were directly stopped by Zi Ling and others. At this moment, in the eyes of Zi Ling and others, Fang Fan is the absolute leader. Fang Fan used his strength to prove his existence to them. The strong have some privileges, isn't it right? There are some complicated expressions in Zi Ling's beautiful eyes. The man she was able to tease casually at first has gradually grown to the point where she can't resist. He can even kill the 5-star Emperor, so naturally he doesn't care about her little 2-star Emperor. How long has it been since then? Does such a peerless genius really exist in the world? In the first half hour, I realized the power of 3 laws one after another. Up to now, the army under the organization has severely damaged the leader of the 5-star Emperor level God-forsaken. Is it possible for ordinary people to do this piece by piece? Is this the chosen son? Just when Xiling was thinking wildly, the sword in Galen's hand was already close to the leader of the God-forsaken. Just stab it out lightly, and everything will be turned into a cloud of the past. Sonorous. The sound of metal collision came, and I saw Baron Mountain holding a sword and fighting against Galen. Everyone was in an uproar. What is this operation? Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 995. Fang Fan was also stunned for a moment, and looked at the Baron Mountain strangely. You must know that Baron Mountain is not an emotionalist, and in general, nothing will go wrong. Why did he help the leader of the God-forsaken this time? At this moment, due to the delay of a little time, several 3-star Emperor-level God Abandoners have broken free from the obstruction and rushed towards this side. Don't move, you God-forsaken. Whoever moves I will hack him to death. Baron snorted coldly, and threatened the 3-star Emperor realm powerhouses who wanted to take action, and then placed the sword on the chest of the leader of the God-forsaken. When the scene stabilized a little, Baron Mountain suddenly knelt down in front of Fang Fan on one knee. Lord, please spare his life. Bang bang bang. The head of the Baron Mountain hit the ground with a thud. I need a reason. Fang Fan frowned, still confused. Lord, he is my clan. I feel the power of blood in him. He is a member of my desolate clan. I can't watch my own people die. The head of the Baron Mountain continued to collide with the ground. As he spoke, his eyes became sharper and sharper, and his exhalation sound was extraordinarily real. Fang Fan raised his head in surprise. Fellow race? Is this god abandoned still a desolate clan? Are you also a barbarian? Since you are a barren tribe, how can you become the lackey of the gods? The god abandoner took the lead with Yuxi, and then he was furious, his naked eyes showing a ferocious color. The reason for this, I can't tell for a while. Barren Mountain's eyes glanced around, hesitant, some secrets could not be disclosed. Everyone, wait a moment for us. Fang Fan directly grabbed the Barren Mountain and the leader of the God-Forsaken, and immediately disappeared in front of everyone's eyes, coming to the Shushan Pavilion world. Hey, where is the person? What's the situation? Everyone was stunned instantly. Is it possible that there is an invisible ability? Yun Yun and Yun Xiao Xiao looked at each other and smiled. They naturally knew that Fang Fan must have gone to Shushan Pavilion. The small world of Shushan Pavilion. It's very safe here, you can chat at will. Fang Fan looked at the Barren Mountain and the God-Forsaken, and said indifferently. Haha. The barren tribesmen who took refuge in the gods are all traitors. I don't talk to traitors. The leader of the abandoned god held his head high, but he still looked quite arrogant. I have never betrayed the Barren clan. I have never been loyal to those outer gods. There was a firm look on Huangshan's face. This was his principle and bottom line, and no one could question it. Hee, it sounds better than it sings. Then what did you call him just now? Lord. Shameless. Despicable. The barren people will never be slaves. The leader of the abandoned god had a look of contempt on his face, even if he had been captured at the moment, he still maintained this manner. I am not a slave. My allegiance is Aragami. This is the crown of the great desolate god. Barren Mountain's face suddenly became serious, and then he crawls in front of Fang Fan, looking very excited. Aragami? How is that possible? The great desolate god has already been killed by those despicable gods? You have been deceived. The leader of the abandoned god showed a look of disbelief, and then openly shouted. Fang Fan listened for a few minutes and probably understood the situation. This so-called leader of the God-Forsaken is actually a die-hard fan of the wild god. If so, it would be much better. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 996. Aragami. Aren't we just gods? The majesty of the wild god. Fang Fan snorted lightly, and then his body began to tremble slightly. Infinite divine light suddenly appeared. The power of the wild gods gathered one after another seems to be materialized. Especially now that Fang Fan has successfully comprehended the law of desolation, it is even easier to manipulate it. The gaze of the leader of the God-Forsaken instantly became extremely astonished. This is indeed, it is the mighty power of Aragami. For their desolate clansmen, this feeling is too real. The power of the waste, the power of the waste. The most sincere aura of desolation. You are really an Aragami. Your Majesty the great desolate god, I was blind to Mount Tai just now. I was wrong, I was really wrong, please forgive me. I deserve to die for the crime of murder. Please punish me by the great god of wilderness. I have offended His Majesty the god of wilderness. But I dare to ask again, since His Majesty the god of wildness is still alive, why have we suffered so many years from other gods' bullying? The leader of the abandoned god, Huangshi, touched his head on the ground, making a violent roar, and strands of blood flowed down his face. There was surprise, awe, and a hint of puzzlement in his eyes. For him, since the desolate god has always been there, why have they been suppressed by the gods and races for so many years? Let hundreds of millions of desolate clansmen fall here. Faced with the questioning, Fang Fan was also stunned. These are all problems left over from the previous term. Perhaps the Aragama they once recognized is indeed dead. Or, because of the depletion of divine power, he is hiding somewhere vulgar and developing, gathering divine power. Or, I didn't care about the so-called desolate people at all. Those true gods, their hearts are not as good as they imagined, everything is profit-oriented. What Fang Fan thought was not impossible. Of course, these are the problems of the previous term, and Fang Fan at this moment is just himself. He is a brand new Aragama. At this time, Barren Mountain began to speak slowly. The great wild god once left a prophecy. One day, the successor of the desolate god will slack off and return with the power of thunder. Lead our desolate clan to unify all clans and create an eternity of desolation. The body of the Lord has the purest aura of the wild god. The Lord is the successor of the Aragama. The Lord is the new wild god. Desolate murder. Don't you know the prophecies passed down from generation to generation by the desolate clan? Also, I saw the Lord a few months ago when I was only a 9-star king realm. But now, I'm already a 2-star king master realm. The Lord used the supreme skill of Aragama to promote me. Let me break through. The Lord is the arrogant God. Barren Mountain said with a flushed face, his eyes showed endless faith. The past is no more. The past smoke and clouds. Today, I don't have the power to gather, so I have to dormant, waiting for an opportunity to come out. Before the kingdom of God has not yet been completed, no information about it should be revealed. Fang Fan said solemnly, he was originally a new god of wildness. Although it is a new false Aragama, but don't pay attention to so many details. Feeling the surging divine power gathered on Fang Fan's body, the expression of the leader of the God-forsaken became extraordinarily excited. Your Majesty the great desolate God, your humblest believer asks for your punishment. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 997. Huang Shi tore off the mask on his face, revealing his true face. From the outside, it looks quite young, with a slightly immature face, and tears are already in my eyes at this moment. How did you become God-forsaken? Still dormant in places like Wailing Canyon. How many like you are in the entire Wailing Gorge? Fang Fan asked several questions in a row. Everything in front of him has potential to be developed. Your Majesty the desolate God, the desolate clan is too bitter. We don't want to become God-forsaken, we can only become God-forsaken because of our inability to do anything. Since the news of the fall of the desolate gods came out, the gods began to issue oracles to completely wipe out our desolate people. Those lackeys of the gods started to jump around frantically and surrounded our desolate clan. Although my barren warriors fought bloody battles to the end, in the end, because they were outnumbered, they retreated steadily. The situation has taken a turn for the worse. The remaining clansmen of the barren clan can only flee in all directions. At first, we were hiding very well, and each of us found our own new home, discussed with each other, and got ready to go. I just didn't expect that the turmoil of my desolate clan gave birth to a part of the bones, and actually surrendered to the gods and became the lackeys of the gods. The gods use them to hunt us down. They are familiar with the habits of our desolate people, and they know where we will hide. Gradually, our last living space is gone. Many desolate clans have become slaves of 10,000 clans in desperation. And the rest of the desolate people are hiding in dangerous Jedi like Wailing Canyon. This kind of place is too dangerous, and most people dare not go there. This has become our only chance of survival. We are hated by the gods. We regard you as enemies. Over time, we will have the title of God abandoned. Of course, We don't care at all, we think it's good. There are thousands of barren tribesmen like me in the entire Wailing Canyon. Of course, the forces in Wailing Canyon are intricate and complicated. Our desolate clan members belong to one of the big forces, but there are also many other forces that can compete with us. For example, the Brahma clan, the Meteorite clan. They are all the gods of their respective ethnic groups who fell and were eventually hunted down by the gods. Speaking of which, some of the gods they had loyal to before were gods under the crown of the wild gods, and some were enemies under the crown of the wild gods. Of course, they have all fallen into this field, and all the grievances between each other have to be put aside and fought against each other. The gods can seek a ray of life. Those like them who don't want to become slaves of the gods can only hide with us in places like Wailing Canyon. Huang Shi said a lot, and many times when he talked, tears were left behind. The body also trembled unnaturally, and the breathing sound was even more sincere. Fang Fan sighed inwardly, not to mention the rest, he admires the integrity of these desolate clansmen. Once they all believed that Aragami was dead. But they have been dead for thousands of years, and their belief in the wild gods has never changed. Ding! Mad believer at 1. The system sound came from his ear. Fang Fan nodded secretly. As he expected, this brand new 10th level mad believer is wild murder. Basically, every pure barren tribe is the best candidate for a 10th level mad believer. The solidity of faith is unparalleled. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 998. You suffer. But remember, the hardships you have suffered will soon be over. You will finally usher in the light. Wait a little longer. Fang Fan has a sincere look in his eyes. If he can, he is naturally willing that such a loyal ethnic group can live better. Your Majesty the Wild God, we are not afraid of hardship. Because, we have faith. We firmly believe that the great Aragami will not abandon us. Huang Shi clenched his fists tightly, his face flushed red, and his excitement was beyond words. There seems to be something wrong outside. Go out and see. Fang Fan's eyes narrowed, and he went straight to it. Our boss said that disturbance is not allowed here, and everything will be dealt with by him. Wearing black clothes and holding a machete, a few god abandoners firmly stopped in front. These abandoned gods are all the subordinates brought by the previous slaughter. Boss. Are you talking about slaughter? Haha. What about others? Everyone is gone, and the spoils are still occupied? Where does this kind of reason come from? Hey, these girls are really good. My brothers are really lucky today, I haven't encountered such a stunning look for a long time. Tisk tisk tisk, in addition to the chick we captured just now, let's celebrate tonight. In addition, a few gods abandoned from the surrounding area, also wearing black robes, but a purple star was engraved on their bodies. Brothers. Come and grab it with me. The leader of the purple star and black robe gave an order, and the other purple stars and black robes rushed over. No one is allowed to move without the leader's order. The few god abandoners under Huang Slei's command are still trying their best to stop. Haha. It's just you. Even if Huang Shi is here today, he can still grab it. Anyway, you desolate clansmen need to be strong, and they won't be interested in these women. Why don't you give us brothers some entertainment? Everyone said, isn't it? Yes. Ha ha ha. Steal his mother. Facing the sudden attack of another wave of god abandoners, the faces of Zi Ling and the others became ugly. This wave of people is much more abominable than the previous group. At most, the group of god abandoned people started killing, but at least they won't be insulting. And in the eyes of these god-forsakens dressed in purple stars, there is extreme greed and excitement. They were completely in a state of madness. In this frenzied state, they used Xiling and others as a way to vent. One can imagine how tortured they would be if they were caught. And in the end there is still no escape. What to do? Just stabilized a wave, and more came. Run, run. Guneng, the pavilion master of Chasing Soul Pavilion, had a helpless look on his face. Today is really Mercury retrograde. Everything is not going well, just go out, encounter these things. Encountering a wave of God abandoned is not enough, yet another wave? Is there such a thing? There's no escape, they are numerous and stronger than us. This time, we don't have Fang Fan to help us stop the leader of the God-forsaken. Xiling took a breath, her eyes twinkling brightly. It's not really her pessimism at the moment, it can only be said that the difference in combat power between them is indeed too great. Fight them. Even if my mother is killed in battle, there is absolutely no chance that she will be insulted by them. Demon Heaven Pavilion Demon Emperor Snake Charm snorted coldly, and the killing intent in his eyes instantly condensed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 999. Although the snake charm usually shows a variety of looks, but it is only the appearance of the appearance. In fact, in her heart, she has her own persistence. At this moment, I suddenly encountered such an adversity, and I was unwilling to give in easily. This kind of mentality seemed extraordinarily normal. Fighting intent, instant courage. Tisk tisk tisk, these women are quite energetic. I like your little peppers. It's more fulfilling to pick this kind of small spicy strips. The group of God-forsakens wearing purple stars and black robes rushed over with excitement. Stopping your steps may even spare you a dog's life. At this moment, an indifferent voice came, Fang Fan, Huang Shan and others appeared in front of everyone. Lord! Be careful! Galen's eyes looked at the wasteland behind Fang Fan, and he immediately showed a nervous look. It's too dangerous to leave your back to your enemies. Fang Fan waved his hand indifferently, indicating that Galen should not be nervous. The current Huang Shi is a 10th level mad believer in the temple of the wild god, and he is already in a state of crazy worship, so it is naturally impossible to betray him. Seeing Lianja. You dare to attack my barren people. When Huang Shi saw the God-forsaken wearing purple stars, a furious expression appeared on his face. The star link in the mouth of the slaughter is the leader of the group of gods who wear purple stars. Huang Murder, you are actually messing with these gods' lackeys. No wonder these people under your hand stopped me just now, if it wasn't for the deal you made. Don't you desolate people claim to be the race that hates the gods the most in the world? What? Now people throw a dog bone and can't help it? Want to wag your tail and beg for mercy? Wearing a purple star and black robe, Seeing Lianja, a member of the Meteorite clan, showed a look of contempt on his face. Keep your mouth clean. This is a waste. Huang Shi originally wanted to directly say that Fang Fan is the god of wilderness, but thinking of Fang Fan's previous entrustment, he stopped abruptly. What? Can't speak. Betrayal is betrayal. Is there anything you dare not admit? You've already done this kind of thing, so why don't you still pretend to be here? A hypocrite like you is the most evil. Give me these women, and then give me your storage ring, as well as the divine crystals and treasures in the virtual space, otherwise, you can't escape from here today. If other forces in Wailing Canyon knew about your barren rebellion, I'm afraid they would also gang up and attack. Seeing Lianja had a greedy look on his face. For him, maintaining the so-called justice was nonsense. The vested interests are real. These beauties in front of you, plus taking advantage of the fire to make a fortune, isn't it beautiful? Even these people don't dare to make a big deal out of it. Kill this group of noisy things. Fang Fan frowned. This group of people challenged his bottom line again and again. In fact, what Fang Fan didn't plan to say was probably just this. After all, it is not easy for these races to fall into the Wailing Canyon. It's just that this guy in front of him is too greedy. That ugly face is really disgusting. Yo. Boy. You are crazy. How dare you be arrogant in front of me? Dare to kill me? Hee, I thought he was a master. A supreme true king, I laughed to death. Seeing Lianjia sounded arrogant, but he never took Fang Fan in his eyes. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1000. Insult the Lord, Behead. Barren Mountain and Wild Murder shot at the same time. It's just that the injury he suffered before the murder was too serious, so he couldn't gather all his strength for a while. I've already been scrapped and still pretending to be here. You're seriously injured, it's good to be able to play half of your strength. Don't forget, this young master is also a 5-star emperor. On weekdays, when you were in your prime, Master Ben was quite afraid of you, but now, hee. Seeing Lianjia, a member of the Meteorite clan, had a disdainful look on his face, he thought he had taken control of everything. Under such circumstances, who would dare to shout in front of him? At first, he just wanted to make a fortune and left. After all, he was also quite afraid of the combat power of the slaughter. But now seeing Huangshi's serious injury, he suddenly smiled sinisterly. New hatred and old hatred, then repay it all. As long as all these people in front of you are killed and your hands and feet are clean, who can know that he did this vote? At that time, wouldn't it be nice to have enough to eat and drink? Huangshi's face instantly turned ugly, although he was unwilling to admit it, but at the moment his physical condition can at most exert the general combat power of the 4-star Emperor realm. Seeing Lianjia, who is facing the 5-star Emperor realm in front of him, is naturally not enough. Even if the manipulation is not good, it is very likely that the whole game will be lost. Huangshi had already made up his mind secretly, even if he died, he would die with this guy. In short, the Lord can't be hurt a little. Huangshi gritted his teeth, and some death desires have gradually sprung up in his heart. Lord. You withdraw first. I'll cut it later. Where are the deserted gods? Exist. Bless the Lord. Fight to the end. With the order of desolate murder, the dozen or so deserters of the desolate race around them were instantly stunned. Lord. Where did they come from, Lord? This young man in front of you. Weren't they still enemies just now? How did it change so quickly? This speed, I can't understand it. The stunned faces of the crowd seem extraordinarily real. However, out of their trust in the wild murder, the deserters of the desert tribe still naturally guarded the two sides of the wild murder. These barren gods and deserters are stunned. Zai Ling and the others couldn't understand it anymore. The leader of the abandoned god was taken by Fang Fan and disappeared for a while. How could he betray after he came back? Is this on their side? Zai Ling and the others opened their mouths, and the surprise in their eyes was obvious. This operation, they are also somewhat incomprehensible. Lord, hurry up and evacuate. There were beads of sweat on Huang Mian's forehead, and he looked very anxious. Evacuate? No need to evacuate. Let's have a good fight with you today. By the way, you use this Emperor level healing card first, and then use this Emperor level supply card to replenish your stamina. Two cards suddenly appeared in Fang Fan's hand, and then he put them in Huangshi's hand indifferently. Huangshi blinked, looking a little stunned. However, due to Fang Fan's trust, he subconsciously used the two cards directly, and immediately killed them without hesitation. At this moment, Huangshi's heart is ready to die in battle. It would be even better if he could use his death to drag the star of the 5-star sovereign realm, Lianjia, to die with him. In this way, the safety of the Lord is guaranteed to a great extent. Huang Shi thought so in his heart. He had already activated his invincible ultimate move, and when he played, it was a desperate play. Seeing Lianjia didn't really care at first, and felt that it would not be a problem to kill a seriously injured Slaughter, but as the fierce battle continued, he gradually panicked.